So, like I said, I would show you how they steal from us, and this is just a couple of many ways. And this is only when we catch it. Sometimes, if you're busy enough, you may never notice that they stole from you because you go from one ride directly into another. And by the time you get done doing these back to back short trips, you don't realize that if you were to go back into your earnings, that they stole from you. So here's a case where this ride right here was offered to me. It was during a surge. Now, you'll see how what they paid to me was $10.59. By the way, you'll notice they don't show you anymore what your passenger is paying. This is because they are taking more than 20%, even though they claim to you right here, they lie to you and tell you that they are around the 20%. And it's a lie. It's a lie, because we will have passengers exposed to us. In fact, they were showing us what the because passengers will say what they paid for the trip, and we're not dumb. We can do the math. So basically, they used to show us what the passenger paid and then show us what our take from it was, because it would show us how much of what we paid to Uber was, and then it would show us our final take home amount. And it seemed like they do stuff like this only when they're really under scrutiny of the courts, and they promise the courts and they tell the courts they're going to do all kinds of stuff like the Prop 22 minimum wage guarantee. Not only is that whole thing deception, because it's only talking about when you are online in a ride. It is not talking about when you are online actively looking for a ride, which means I could go 3 hours looking for work and them not give me any rides, and they would still be in according to their Prop 22 minimum wage guarantee, as long as when they finally give me a ride, an hour's worth of time online adds up to that amount. Does that make sense? So it's a scam. It means that we could literally be paid $3 an hour and they are still abiding by their minimum wage guarantee, which, by the way, they're not even doing. They're not even giving us our guarantee. And if somebody was to investigate Uber and all of the passenger emails and comments and recorded messages and all the complaints that flood into Uber, I'm pretty sure they would realize that lots of people are complaining about Prop 22 not paying out. I'm sure they would find out that Uber is stealing from a lot of their drivers, and this is an example I'm giving you. And I'll tell you another way that they try to get around the theft as well. But give me one moment here. So when you look, you see right here at the bottom, it says that what I was promised for this ride was $18.34. But what did I really get? I got this $10.59. Look right here, $10.59. So $10.59, that's what they paid me. My upfront fare was $18.34. Where's the rest of my money? Where's my other, $7 and some change? If you come down here and open this up, it shows you I was supposed to get a $7.75 surge. My total was supposed to be $18.34. What did they pay me? They paid me $10.59. And so I contacted them. I contacted them 5 days ago, as you can see right here under the blue message. And I let them know, look, you didn't pay me the surge price. It's not showing in my earnings, so you still owe me the surge. And then we get this, oh, thank you. Can you please provide me more information on the experience? How much more information do you need? Include any screenshots that might show the issue. What they're doing is trying to waste my time and frustrate me and get me to just let it go. And I already provided them, when you start a help with a fare review, and want to get your fare calculated so you can be properly compensated, they ask you to pick the ride. So they already know the information up front. They can already see, you see how up here it says Wednesday, July 12th for $10.59? That's the trip details. They already have it. It's part of my message. So they can already go in there and see, and for themselves, like I just showed you, they can already see that they didn't pay me my $7. What is the right thing to do? Issue me my $7.75. But instead, they play games. They run you around. So I told them, look, I already gave you that information, but here, let me send it to you again, Uber. And I sent them all the proof. And then again, I get just, oh, I sense the urgency. And there's an ongoing technical issue on our end. Some of the drivers are experiencing, so they're admitting that other drivers, in fact, probably lots of drivers, are not getting compensated properly. And then we basically just get dismissed. Oh, we're sending it over to the engineering team. We'll get it fixed as soon as possible. This was 5 days ago. So 5 days later, I'm still waiting to be compensated for my surge amount. You've had 5 days to issue me my money that you legally owe me because it's in the contract. You offered me a ride for $18 and some change. You are now in breach. So I hope that would be like your employer telling you you're in contract to get paid $18 an hour, and then you get your paycheck and they only paid you $15. It's theft. This is theft. So after I reminded them 5 days later, you had 5 days to fix this issue. Again, same thing, same. We've heard from other drivers as well that this is an issue. Now, instead of their engineering team, now they're sending it to their specialized technical team. This is a joke. This is a joke, you guys. We're just getting dismissed and passed around. Oh, we're working on it. We hope to have it fixed soon. How hard is it to just send me my $7? That's fixing it. We're so sorry. We thank you for your patience. You know, it's what they're doing is literally trying to just run us around in loops. And I guarantee if a deep investigation was done on Uber, they would find that there has probably been tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in theft from their drivers. Period. Now, this is another example of how they steal from us and how they cause us hardship, and basically it's punishment. I made a video the other day exposing that they are sabotaging our cars and that they are discriminating against gas drivers. And so in retaliation, of course, today they're messing with me and they're threatening me. They're threatening me with my job with subliminal messages. Like I said in the other video just now, with subliminal messages by surrounding me with cars that are up, disabled, and cars on the side of the road with their hoods up. It's not normal. It's not normal even in a city this big to have that many cars surround you everywhere you go. And it's where they are setting me up to be. They are working together and they are aligning up my trips with their occult people to threaten me and to do false prophecy against me and to do false judgment against me. And now they're stealing from me income wise. So I let them know. They had sent me a $50 comfort ride pre-scheduled trip this morning. I received the ride request about an hour and a half before my trip. I had taken a passenger to the airport and dropped them off. And I went over to the airport queue to wait because it was still an hour and a half before this pre-scheduled ride at 9:15 in the morning. So I'm sitting in the Uber lot and you're hoping that they'll at least give you a ride that's heading towards the pickup destination for your scheduled pickup. Because this pickup was going to be about 30 to 35 miles away. I don't have the exact mileage because they don't give you a confirmation in an email or anything showing that you ever received this pickup request. So what they did to me was I got to down in the queue, in the airport queue, to where there was only 1 to 5 cars ahead of me. When it gets to that point, it means that any time now you could be called for a ride. But nope, they still left it in 1 to 5 cars ahead of me for a good 40 minutes or so. And that's what they do, especially when they're discriminating against a driver for whatever reason they're a target. For a lot of us, it's because we're gas drivers. For some of us, it's because we are exposing their crime. We're exposing what they're doing to us, and we're exposing their occultish behavior, and their false gods and their false prophets and their false judgments. And I'm done. So now I'm being threatened again, but that's fine. I give it to God. Like I said, I give it to God. So what they did was they called me. They did not give me a ride out of the airport queue, even though I had been sitting in it for probably almost an hour, close to an hour. No ride, no nothing. So then they call me to go pick up this passenger who I had the $50, it was $50 and some change. And they called me to go get them. So I head out of the airport queue to head up to go get them about 30 to 35 miles away. And as soon as I get a block away from the airport, I'm being sent threatening messages. You're not going to make it to this trip on time. Start making progress towards your destination or we'll take it from you. The arrival time at this point is already showing that I'm going to arrive 10 minutes late after their appointment. So while you're still in the airport queue until you get a certain distance away from the airport. So at this point, when I'm getting threatening messages, I'm still in the airport queue, which means if they were to take it from me, at least I'm still next in line in the queue, right? Wrong. They wait until I get out of the queue and then almost instantly say, yeah, we've taken this ride from you. You're not going to make it in time. Basically, we're giving it to another driver. Okay, so now I'm out of the queue. And after I waited in there for over an hour, and now they took this $50 ride from me that I did my part. I was online. You're supposed to be online 40 minutes prior to a pickup. When I know the distance is a little further, like it's not just a drive down the road, I will make sure I'm online at least an hour before the pickup. In this case, I was online for an hour and a half before this pickup. They did not call me to go to this pickup until it was already too late, when I would not make it on time. So their own app cost me $50. I held my bargain of the deal. I agreed to go pick up this passenger, and I was online, and I made sure that I gave myself ample of time to be online to receive the call, and they did not call me until they had opportunity to take it from me. So now I have to go back to the airport queue, but I'm now stuck in traffic, by the way, wasting my gas and time. So this is punishment. This is literally their punishments, and they do this not only because of your religious beliefs or because you stand up, but it's because you stand up against them or because you won't conform to their agendas. This is literally persecution. So now they're stealing too. So in this case, this was $50 that they cost me. Not only $50 did they cause me to lose, but my backup plan. The backup plan was I was going to be next in line in the airport queue. I may not have made as much as $50, but at least I would not have been sitting there wasting an hour for nothing. But they took both of them away from me and stuck me in traffic. Now I'm wasting my time and my gas. So I'm on the phone with Uber support, and the guy is pretending to care. And thank you for being so nice about it. I understand you're frustrated. I would be too, but you're handling it well, kind of, patronizing me. And that's fine. What am I going to do? You know what I mean? Yelling at him isn't going to get it, resolved and, just whatever. But this is another temptation of the devil where they literally force you into a situation and then want to judge you for how you behave. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So whatever, again, I give it to God. So after I spoke to this guy, explaining again and again and again how Uber did this to me and how they cost me $50, they basically took $50 off my plate, out of my wallet. You know what I mean? Like, that's $50. We need to pay bills. We need to eat. And they gave it to me. I obliged by my part of the contract. I agreed to be online. I agreed to go pick up this person. And then they took it from me. And then they put me in a worse situation by taking away me from the queue and sticking me in a ton of traffic with just wasting gas and time, basically. So I think I've made my point. So this guy, after I talked to him on the phone, then tells me, again, we'll have to escalate this and send this to another department, which just basically means we're dismissing you because that's all they ever do. And so then I get this. The instant response from this department is basically just to go over everything I already went over with the other guy. But not only that, but they're treating it as if I'm just missing a ride. They're not addressing my situation at all. This is just what they want to do is frustrate you and make you give up. So I'm not going to read all of this. I'm going to just go by slowly. You can pause it and read all of this on your own. Now, see, they already have all this information because if the other guy was doing his job, he would have been making notes, and my specific situation would be noted. Like, this isn't just, this is what they send you when you take a ride, you finish the ride, and then you notice the ride never showed up in your earnings. That's how they're responding to me. So they're just sending me this specialized team who he sent my special situation to, is just responding to me with some cookie cutter response, copy and paste. So they're not even addressing me. Like, do you know how dismissed you feel when you're being stolen from, you're being treated like garbage, when you're being sabotaged, when you're having rides taken from you for nothing that you did wrong, and it affecting your income, and then you try to make it right, and you try to go to them and in front of, like, just like the Bible says, when you take it to your brother and you let them know how they wronged you, if they do not do it, well, then you give it to God, and that's going to be a whole nother story for them. But you just get dismissed. So then you can just read this. So this right here at the top, it was supposed to say this is Uber's fault and their error resulted in several losses to me financially. And I do feel Uber should compensate me for the entire $50 for the pre-scheduled amount, not just because it would be the right thing to do, but because you'll see in their response, they literally admit that it is their fault this happened to me. So here, again, they're treating me. Sorry to hear that the trip hasn't appeared yet. Again, they're just replying. They're not even listening to what I said. It's like they're not even reading it. This goes right back to the cookie cutter response, where if I had done the ride and then finished the ride and then not been compensated in my earnings, this is the kind of response you would get. They're not paying attention at all to what I'm saying. Now they're trying to force me to wait 48 hours to see. So what they want you to do is forget about it. They want me to forget about this $50 that they were supposed to pay me. Just like they want me to forget about that $7.75 by running me around in circles and hoping I forget about it. By the time you start adding more rides to the queue, it gets harder and harder to go back into your earnings and find that ride unless you have detailed records. Which is why you guys should never call them on the phone. You should always put everything in writing, because then you'll have proof of all the ways they're stealing from you and lying to you. That was supposed to say Uber took it from me. even though it was Uber's error. So now I explain it again. This is the second time. So this makes the third time I've explained what happened, because remember, I just explained this to a guy on the phone, and then he sends me to these people, where I now explain it twice to them. So again, oh, we're so sorry about this inconvenience. Now they're finally addressing that it was a reservation canceled. After careful review of your account, I can confirm that there is an outage due to which reservation trips are impacted. Our team of experts is already working on a solution for this. We'll get back to you as soon as we get a response on this. So now they're admitting that it's their fault that they did not fulfill my $50 pre-scheduled. Like, they cost me my appointment, which cost me income. And if somebody was to take, and they do this all the time, you guys, they take rides from us like this all the time. They don't pay us our surges. They don't pay us the amounts they promise up front to pay. It even says in the Uber app that if you, because we're supposed to have upfront pricing now. So it tells us, like, if your ride says you're going to get paid $15, that's what you get paid, even if you find a faster route and get them there earlier on less miles, that you still get that guaranteed minimum $15. But if it goes over that price, or if it goes over that time or mileage due to traffic, added traffic they didn't prepare, or, you know, detours or whatever, accidents, things like that, then they will add to that $15. But they're not doing it. As you can see, even on here, look, you know, I'll even show you. So here, what is the upfront fare? We were promised upfront pricing so that whatever we were given, before you accept the trip, you'll be able to see how much you'll make. Payments for factors that we can't predict, such as wait times and tips, will also still be added to that upfront pricing. That, like I said, if it says it's $15 upfront, no matter what, we're supposed to receive $15. But if there's more time, more gas, more miles involved, whatever, then it's supposed to add. Now look at this part right here. If you find a route that is more efficient and finish it quicker, you'll still get the upfront fare. So no matter what, $15. The upfront fare can only increase. And this whole, as long as the pickup and drop-off addresses don't change, that's a fault on their own for them to scam us even further, to where they are arranging it so that passengers, they know passengers don't always put in the exact address. Like, passengers will literally say that this is my my address that I'm going to, but then, oh, well, I'm really just going to my car that's 3 houses down. And they do this to the drivers so that the drivers, now our ride gets calculated and they have to pay, like, they pay less. And so if you're a target of Uber and they're doing this to you, this is why. This is why. And now I see, you know, even just reading this and seeing this, it makes more sense why all of a sudden lately passengers have been asking me to do this. And I swear, from now on, I'm just going to tell them, no, I will only pick up and drop off where this address is unless you want to change it in the app. You know, the problem with that is now they're going to give the driver a 1 star for protecting their rights. However, as you see, this one right here, I absolutely 100% picked them up where it said to pick them up and drop them off where it said to drop them off. And you can see they still recalculated it, which goes against their own contract with us, because they put it in writing that we will get our upfront fare And not only did they not give me the upfront fare, because my upfront fare was including a surge, but it says it recalculated. So if it recalculated, then that means that I got them there sooner than they thought I would, and they recalculated it. Even if it only took 10 cents off, even if it only took 20 cents off, they recalculated this fare. And they definitely, based on what I'm seeing here, didn't recalculate it for me to get more. You see what I'm saying? Because if I do the math there, this is definitely not an addition. In fact, if it was, it would have added, it shows you that there's an additional charge added, and it would have been showing in the breakdown that they added another charge for the ride taking longer or whatever. But basically what I'm showing you is that they're still recalculating. They're still not abiding by their upfront pricing. They're stealing from us and then running us through loops and hoops. And when we speak out about it, they threaten us and sabotage our cars. I'm telling you, if you were to look at my Hertz rental program and the history of all the vehicles and all of my receipts, which I keep, of all the vehicles they've had to put me in, you will see that they were sabotaging my car basically almost on a weekly basis, to where there's no way anybody has that much bad luck. Like, people are literally messing with the cars to where you're constantly having to go back, and Hertz is in on it, and so is Uber. They're both aware of what's going on, because this is all being ran by the occult. And the world, they can't even see it. They think they're just experiencing bad luck. No, my friend, you've become a target, and they're targeting you, and this is persecution. So I'm over it. I'm over it. They want to take my job away from me. God, I'm in God's hands. I am in God's hands, absolutely. And all these false prophets and teachers and these, I mean, all of this is breach of contract. You guys don't even realize how much they are in breach of contract with their drivers.